Everybody makes mistakes, but some are more high stakes than others. The next time you goof up, remember it can always be worse, as evidenced by these extremely costly mishaps in today's video, wherein we'll show you the top 10 most expensive mistakes in history. Some of the worst disasters in history are a result of benign human errors. A typing fault, a design and communication error, or a little negligence can make you to lose a fortune, not to mention the human losses and the ecological impacts. Everyone makes mistakes. We are all human. Mistakes are a part of human life. Every human being makes mistakes in their life and even learns from those mistakes and then moves on in their life with the lessons they've learned through those experiences. For humans are said to be the statue of mistakes. But if we make big mistakes related to money, then it is often not so easy to recover from such. However, you've probably never made a mistake as badly as this. These huge oversights and mistakes have costed these people millions. We agree, making a mistake is not the end-all be-all or the end of the world, but that does not mean it won't break your bank. From losing an NSA orbiter in space to forgetting a Starbucks cup in an episode of a previously well-acclaimed TV series, there are some mishaps that came with very hefty price tags. For those of you wondering what they are, here are the 10 of the most expensive mistakes ever made. Number 10. Car melting walkie-talkie building. This building can actually melt your car. This building had to put out some extra funds for some protection after complaints that it had melted a person's Jaguar that was parked across the street. Martin Lindsay was walking to his car one day when he saw a photographer taking pictures of his car. His rear view mirror and part of the body had dented under the heat generated by the reflection off of the side of the building. The developers of the building had paid the £946 fee to Lindsay, and they also had to use a temporary fix on the building to prevent more damage to other people's property from being done, until a more permanent fix could be made. Number 9. Kurt Russell destroying historic guitar. The production crew for the film The Hateful Eight borrowed a one-of-a-kind guitar from the Martin Guitar Museum. The guitar was intended to be used for one scene, where Kurt Russell grabs the guitar from actress Jennifer Jason Leigh, then smashes it. Before smashing the guitar, the film crew was supposed to cut right before and switch the guitar with a cheap replica. However, Russell didn't know about the plan, and he went ahead and smashed the one-of-a-kind instrument, as the whole crew looked at him in shock. Actually, Leigh's reaction to the guitar being smashed in the film is completely genuine. It seems like everyone knew about the priceless guitar except Russell. The Martin Guitar Museum was not happy about the incident, and they decided to never lend another instrument to filmmakers again. Number 8. James Howell trashing 7,500 bitcoins. Very few saw the way cryptocurrency would take off in the coming years. In 2009, James Howell was not one of the few blessed with the foresight. Not long after acquiring 7,500 bitcoins, when they were worth very little, Howell spilled coffee on his computer. He was able to salvage it, and he sold most of the parts, and got all the information he thought he needed off of the hard drive. The hard drive sat in his drawer for quite a while, before he threw it away during a move. When he discovered his mistake, and after seeing the way Bitcoin had taken off, he began searching for the lost hard drive in the city dump. To make things worse, the Newport City Council barred him from continuing the search due to concerns about the environmental impact of disturbing possible hazardous waste. In December 2017, Bitcoin skyrocketed when it hit $19,783. This meant that Howell basically threw away $148 million. Number 7. Priceless Elias Garcia Martinez painting ruined. When an 80-year-old parishioner noticed the fresco Ex Homo at the Sanctuary of Mercy Church in Borgia was fading, she knew how to restore it, or at least she thought she did. The restored result looks a tad different to the original piece, which prompted jokesters on the internet to redub the painting ex mono, Behold the Monkey. The original painting may be ruined, but there is a positive side to this situation. So many travelers flocked to Borgia to see the painting, that the church began charging people to see it, generating 50,000 euros to charity. Number 6. Continuous continuity errors. Game of Thrones fans couldn't help but notice a Starbucks cup mistakenly left in a pivotal scene on the HBO series, but other television and movie mishaps actually cost studios a ton of money. When Warner Bros. Gathered the cast of Justice lead for some badly needed reshoots, Henry Cavill, Superman, was in the midst of shooting another film that required him to have some pretty heavy facial hair. He had to film the reshoots with a mustache, and according to Looper, Warner Bros. Spent millions of dollars digitally removing the pesky hairs from the Justice lead film to make Superman appear as his smooth self. It might not be as costly as this one, but these newspaper typos are certainly funny. Number 5. New Jersey's proofreading error. You'll be hard-pressed to find a school in the United States that couldn't use more funding, which is why it was heartbreaking when a clerical error caused the state of New Jersey to lose $400 million in federal funding for education. The money would have come from Race to the Top funding, but the state lost points in its bid for the coveted dollars because they didn't supply the appropriate data required, including budget information comparing the 2008 and 2009 school years. Instead of comparing the state's budget information between 2008 and 2009, the state provided information for 2010 and 2011 instead, costing them 5 points, 10th place, and $400 million. Next time you make a mistake of any proportion, you'll want to know this advice on how to bounce back from failure. Number 4. MercedesBenz buying Chrysler. Daimler-Benz acquired Chrysler for $37 billion in 1998. About 9 years later, they sold the company for only $7 billion. Though it was sold to investors as an equal merger, it became clear that Daimler-Benz was calling the shots. In 2001, everything was going smoothly. Stocks rose to $108.62 a share. However, rough times were shortly ahead. Chrysler reported a loss of $1.5 billion despite launching 10 new vehicles that year. In 2006, the instability and loss of profits proved to be too much for Daimler-Benz, who sold off 80% of its shares in the company the following year. Chrysler filed for bankruptcy in 2008, and in 2009 was famously bailed out by the Treasury Department. Number 3. Excite missing Google purchase. Excite was the second most popular search engine. Yahoo was number 1 in 1999. Google, then called Backrub, was a promising new competitor in the search engine market. Excite wanted to buy the company for $750,000, but passed when Google insisted that its technology replace Excite's. One of the main reasons cited for Excite passing on Google's technology was because they thought it worked way too well. Users would find the information they wanted and move on too quickly, and Excite would lose precious revenue. In 2004, Excite sold to Yahoo, and recent estimates value Google at $167 billion. Number 2. Robert Wayne selling his Apple stock for $800. Steve Jobs is a well-known name, and most people are familiar with Steve Wozniak, but many are unfamiliar with Apple's third founder, Ronald Wayne. Wayne drew Apple's logo and served as an intermediary between the two. Innovative Steve Jobs' personality clashed with Wayne, which eventually prompted him to sell his 10% stake in the company for $800 in 1976. This decision prevented him from becoming a multi-billionaire. Apple became worth over $1 trillion last month. Despite missing out on large earnings, Wayne said he has no regrets in leaving the company. Number 1. Russia selling Alaska to U.S. The last frontier used to belong to Russia. Alexander II didn't think much of Alaska. The rough weather made it hard to farm, and high transportation costs kept it from being especially profitable as a trading port. In 1867, he sold the colony to the U.S. for $7.2 million. Very few Russians had explored the land's interior up until that point. Otherwise, they would have noticed what a big mistake the sale was. The U.S. obviously got away with robbery during negotiations. Alaska is rich in natural resources like gold and oil. A century and 20 years later, economists estimate Alaska's oil and gas reserves alone are worth $200 billion. With that, we come to the end of today's video. If you have anything to add, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to join in next time for more of such interesting content. Goodbye.